Welcome. I want to start off tonight's program because we're finishing up the series on technology tonight, and I'll be starting the series next week on the many faces of addiction. That'll start next week. I want to begin tonight by doing the reading from today. It's from the meditation book for Native American elders, and I picked reading. I posted this on Facebook this morning too. Search for the truth. Indian values teach the holistic approach to the use of technology for mankind's good. The Great Spirit has given us certain values to live by. We learn to think in harmony with these values, such as respect, love, patience, tolerance, commitment, trust. We cannot get off track. No matter what we do, we'll always be in harmony. For example, we are respectful, then we respect our earth, our children, our women, our men, and ourselves. Indian values help us walk under the guidance of the Great Spirit. My Creator, today I search for the truth, your truth. Please help me to see it. I wanted to share that because I want to kind of talk about bringing the technology series to a close. And we began by really talking about some very basic fundamental things. And I talked about technology from two perspectives. The world we live in, technology is a reality. And it's going to be out there. It's going to keep changing. It's going to keep developing. What we're doing here in this series is we'd like you to take a look at how it affects you. It affects you in your personal life, in your personal day. Along with that, we basically talk about what I call the big three words. We talk about acceptance. Have to accept the fact that technology is here to stay. It's not going to go away. The second thing is I have to learn how to set boundaries. I have good, healthy boundaries with it, so it does not affect my life in a negative way. And the third thing is that beautiful word called balance. Everything in life has to have a balance to it. I think sometimes we get caught up in what I call the real aspect of the craziness of life. And that is we get caught up in control and fear. So we will talk a lot tonight about two words. One is called codependency. The other one is called interdependency. We have to ask ourselves some questions tonight. Is technology codependent with me? Which means, does it create problems in the course of my life? Or am I interdependent with it? Which means I need it, I'm part of it, but I have my boundaries, I have balance, and I'm able to look at life in a much more positive way. One of the dangers we look at when it comes to technology is the concept of isolation, of avoidance, of creating more fear, and also of getting to a point where basically we are even afraid of ourselves. I find it really interesting because one of the core issues, the core concepts we talk about all the time is the importance of basically constantly learning the need deep down inside for the concept of being able to, have a sense of family. Real growth takes place in a family system. We as people have to learn our need to interact, to interconnect, to be part of other human beings. We learn from the sense of relationships, but we need that in the course of our journey in life. And so literally, when I pull myself out of the family system, I find myself isolating. I find myself making the technology my family, being able to get lost in it. As a result, then I then begin to live in fear of everything around me. I also begin the concept of control. I isolate from things in life, and as a result, I'm literally becoming dead while I'm alive. And it's sad. And we look at this and we see how the world is. It's almost like we look at kind of almost a series of things happening today. For example, dementia, Alzheimer's. It's almost like a pandemic. And one of the things we realize is because so many times we have a tendency to stop using our mind to stop using our brain. And as a result, then we literally want something else to tell me everything, to give me answers to everything. As a result, then I can also fall into the trap. And that's the danger point we have to look at. I can fall into the trap, very basically, of constantly depending on it. And as a result, then it begins to get to a point where I don't have to think anymore. It does my thinking, does everything for me. I never really have to have that sense of adventure, that sense of discovery, that sense of learning, that sense of experiencing new things and new directions. That's what's so important about getting back into what I call the flow of our humanness, the flow of life. Technology can very easily become an addiction, because then basically I don't have to do anything. I can make anything into that. I can really get caught up in something I refer to as mental hoarding. I literally flood my mind with everybody else kind of telling me what I'm supposed to be. I have no sense of myself anymore. As a result, then I can become a target for cults, a target for all kinds of behavior. I literally keep looking for technology to tell me how to live my life. Now, I'm going to do something tonight to kind of help you deal with this. I'm going to talk about detox and recovery. I'm going to talk about the concept of being able to detox ourselves off of certain things and then be able to open up the concept of looking at our life in a positive way. So try something. It's simple, and yet at the same time, it's scary. I'd like you for a period of maybe 6 hours, maybe 10 hours. I mean, you can do it for a day, it's even better. Stop using all technology for 6 to 8 hours. Basically, turn everything off and just be with yourself. Experience the gift of yourself. Experience the quiet. One of our problems is we become so dependent on somebody else that as a result, then we lose a sense of ourself as a person. We see that in relationships, these different areas of life. I want somebody else to be everything for me, to be there for me. I want them to be everything. I give up my own self as a person. And so technology the exact same way. I can do the exact same thing. I can literally make it into another relationship. And as a result, then literally it tells me who I am, what I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to go, how I'm supposed to do it. I have a nickname for that. I call it mental hoarding. As a result, then I can literally get all this stuff into my head, but I have no sense of what I truly believe and what's really part of me as a person. The other part of it is I can do it on a spiritual level too. I can look at religion. I can make religion become almost another addiction. Anything can become an addiction if we give all of our power to it. And I can literally say, I don't have to do anything. God will take care of everything. I can just sit back. No, God will take care of things if we do the footwork. But footwork is important. Our journey in life is important. And one of the hardest things we have to do is develop a sense of ourself and begin to work on it. And that's really important. I think sometimes we forget that. You know, I told you stories so many times over and over again of the old timers in the AA program. I'm very grateful to them. The old timers used to teach me the value of writing, the value of being able to put things on paper, the value of being able to process things in your head, being able to learn things, take time with it. It's interesting because I think I mentioned this to you before, but every morning when I do Facebook, and again, I've had to set some boundaries even with that, because that can become very addictive. Any social media can become very addictive. As a result, then I realized I only spend 45 minutes a day on Facebook. In the morning, when I do my prayer, my meditation, get myself ready for the day, I pick something to post on Facebook. But I do it the old-fashioned way. The first thing I do is I write it. I write out my post, because I've learned when I write, I process. When I write, things become part of me. Then When I post it, I take my time and post it one word at a time. So again, what I'm realizing is by doing that, that whole form of meditation for the day sticks with me throughout the course of the day. It becomes part of me because I've invested in it. I took time for it. I think that's one of the things today we're looking for: quick fixes, quick times. It's interesting, when I got involved in therapy, when I was going through my transition from leaving the priesthood and making changes in the course of my life, I never realized how important therapy was. And one of the things I had to deal with was many of my codependency issues. But the thing I've learned is investment in myself is a very important investment. For example, I've said this many times. If I could have the money back that I paid for therapy, especially those 5 years I went through therapy, basically I'd be a rich man today. Well, I am a rich man today because what I did with that money was I invested in me, and I still invest in me because I still go to therapy every couple of weeks. I still keep working on myself. You see, there's no quick fixes. I'm sorry. And yet we get caught up in technology that wants to give us the quick fix to everything. Call Mrs. Google. She'll tell you what to do. Do this, do that. But remember something. If you basically put away all those toys, as I call them, and just basically be with yourself, I wonder if many of us would even last an hour or 2 hours. It's scary. I've learned boundaries. I've learned to shut my phone off in the evening. I'm not going to die. Nobody will die. I don't turn it back on till I go to do my posting in the morning and go back to Facebook. And you know what's so beautiful about it? Life goes on. The journey goes on. It's amazing. So I really want to emphasize that concept of boundaries, that concept of balance, that concept of opening up your heart and your mind to look at things in a different way. Another thing you can do, try it sometime, it's kind of neat. Do an inventory of all the different technologies you use on a daily basis. Write them out. Everything from TV to computers to cell phones to social media, different areas in life where we do things in different directions. It's just amazing. And what's so beautiful about it is, I don't want my life to be too easy. Here's the danger point. What I'm learning is the more toys I have, the more toys I have to get. And as a result, then, my life becomes centralized around all these toys. There must be, I don't know, hundreds of different social media platforms out there. There are all kinds of names. People even have their own personal platforms and all this kind of stuff and everything else. And yet what? The most powerful platform in the world is yourself. The greatest learning I've done in the course of my journey in life is from my connection with other human beings and other people. My greatest experiences in the 46 years I've been connected with Starting Point, my greatest experiences are all the thousands of people I've met over the course of those years, all the people I've been connected to, the people that taught me so many beautiful things. My first sponsor in 1976 gave me something at a meeting. He took a simple little mustard seed, put it in my hand, and he said, "Take this mustard seed. This mustard seed is you. If you take the time to nurture it, take care of it, help it, and plant it, it will grow, it will develop, and things will begin to happen. But it's got to happen slowly, gradually." As I work at Starting Point, a lot of times I get people that come in and they want to solve everything in 35 seconds. They want to straighten everything out right away. But guess what? There's so much to us as human beings. There's so much to be able to experience, to get in touch with. And it's that humanness that's so important. It's realizing the fact that I have to be able to take my human self with all my idiosyncrasies and everything else, part of my humanness, and I got to learn that concept of balance, because you got to be able to make mistakes. Mistakes are actually a gift. mistakes are necessary for growth. See, things are not supposed to be perfect. Many of us look for the perfect relationship, the perfect individual, there are none. Last time I checked, nothing out there, a bunch of old human beings. You're fantastic. And as you get older, they become older. What can I tell you? It's all part of it. But the bottom line is, where are you on your journey? What's your personal relationship with all these technology things that we do? And it's all good. Zoom is a beautiful thing. I'm able to connect with people in different parts of the country. But I also need to connect with people in person, be around them too. I go to my meetings every week, and I go to my meetings on Zoom, and I've met people from Australia, from Canada, from all over the country. I've got to speak at different meetings in different countries, in different places. But the bottom line is real simple. We still have a meeting at Starting Point for all the people that are local, so we can connect with each other, hug each other, be around each other, learn from each other, and grow from each other. And I've learned that the more I allow myself to interact and be around other people, I do my learning, I do my growing. Look back on my journey all these years. I realized there's so many beautiful things I've learned, but who did I learn them from? I learned them from very simple and very beautiful people, human beings, because everybody tonight here has a story. And your story is the greatest story on the face of the earth. And we have to learn to be able to live that story. And I truly believe if we truly do take time to look at technology in a positive way, to see it as a tool to develop ourselves, to learn things about ourselves, use it as a tool for development, then it's something positive. But I'm using it to create my mind, to reinforce things, to grow, to experience. I can learn all kinds of things using technology. I was able to fix a leak in the kitchen by going to YouTube, and they taught me how to do it. Saved a lot of money from a plumber, that's for sure. But the bottom line is, it's amazing some of the things you can do if you use it in a positive way, not in a negative way. But if I get codependent with it, and I basically have a tendency then to let it realize the fact that I make it such an important part of my life, I can't function without it. It's interesting too, because I'm grateful in my life that I can add and subtract, that I can write, I can write things. I have different techniques and things in life. And I feel scary sometimes. I see people losing that. They're losing the simple things of life. Because we ask ourselves some questions today, especially in the world that we live in, because I truly feel that wars will be fought later on via technology. If they knocked out the satellite systems tomorrow and we had nothing, how could we survive? Are we able to function? Or is our life so dependent? Are we so comfortable having everything answered for us, having everything at our fingertips? Are we that comfortable? Not literally. We get to a point that if this stuff ends or stops for a period of time, what will happen? Can I function? Am I able to experience things in the course of my life? These are inventories we all have to take, because literally we are the architects of our life. We need to be able to look at this, to learn from it, to grow from it. It's a really important part of the process we're doing. And that's why we have to learn. We can't get caught up on the fear of technology. We can't get caught up in control. When I talked about that talk in the second talk I gave on 1984, I talked about Big Brother, and I talked about giving up our privacies and things to that effect. I know today I have to protect my privacy. Even though I know the world around me can find out stuff about me, it's unbelievable. They can Google everything and find it out today. I found it interesting. I got a postcard in the mail, picture of my house. They want to sell it. Pretty good picture of my house too. I don't know where they got it from, but it's beautiful. The concept is, everything is no longer just private. To have a private life, but at the same time, we have to be able to make the best we can with that. to adjust ourselves to it. My other spiritual word I've said constantly in my life is, besides acceptance, which is beautiful, I have to be able to adjust the things on a positive level. Technology is part of my journey. It's part of my life. I'm no different than you. I battle it and I fought it. And now I try to use it in a positive way. I use it to carry a message to other people. I use it to go to meetings to connect things back to me. But I also experience the human connection too. And so I enjoy that. You know, when I was a kid growing up, every Sunday in Camden, in my Italian community, we basically used to get together, 35 people every Sunday. My father cooked for them. And we got together from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And we played games and we different things and we talked to each other and we had fun and everything else, you know. And boy, sometimes you miss all that. And sometimes you can get so caught up with technology that you forget the simple, beautiful things of life. Put the phone down, go outside, smell the roses, take a walk, meet your neighbors, say hello to them, get to connect with people, get to be able to have a conversation. You know, it's interesting here at Holiday City where I live, you know, at nighttime, a lot of times when the weather's warm, people bring their beach chairs out and they sit in a big circle. You know, what do we talk about? You know, whatever. Talk about, you know, just life in general and stuff to that effect. We talk about knee replacements and all kinds of crazy stuff and everything else. But you know what? It's community. It's connectiveness. It's around that. You know, I need that human connection. It's part of my life. And it's scary sometimes because during the pandemic, we lost a lot of that. During the pandemic, we withdrew to the inside. And now somehow we have to be able to live with it and be able to open up the doors and be able to connect and be part of people. Technology can also destroy a relationship. If your whole entire life is on a machine all the time, you know, I don't want to be on a machine. I'll just sit and talk to my wife, have a cup of coffee with her, you know, take a walk away from my nighttime after supper. We just take I shouldn't call it a walk. We take a stroll, you know, and we have a lot of fun together. We just walk and talk and have time together. It's neat. It's important. In the morning, we have a cup of coffee together. That's important to me. That is the need I have in my life, of my kids and things of that effect. Just to be able to open up those doors and go in different directions. You know, my youngest stepdaughter had to rush her son, my grandson, to the hospital the other day, and my daughter knows that I'm up at 4 o'clock, 4:30 every morning. So at 4:30 in the morning, she called me. We had a nice conversation. You know, she's in Montana, so that's like, I don't know, 2 hours behind. So I don't know what time it was there. Well, we're ahead. So it was 2:30 there. But she's in an emergency room and she was all upset and going through changes. And we were able to talk and converse. She said, I called you. She calls me Vinny. I called you because I knew you'd be up. I knew you'd be there at this time of the morning. And it was nice. It really was. But the other thing is to be quiet. Let stuff come in, to make time for yourself. This is what's important. I got nothing against technology. I think it's wonderful. I think we're learning so much today. But be careful. Don't let it control your life and run your life. Open up the doors. Get yourself out there. Connect with people. I am so grateful for 12-step programs. I'm grateful for the recovery world. You know, on Saturday, I gave a talk at a program over at one of the high schools. And it was basically, you know, a really good, a beautiful, it was called King's Crusade. There were close to 150 recovering people there. They were there to be part of a dodgeball tournament. I didn't play in the tournament, don't worry. I'm not that crazy. But the bottom line was, I got to share, I got to talk to people, be around people. There were 23 different tables there. It was almost like a big community. I got to see people I haven't seen for a long time. I also got to connect with guys from the 400 Club different places. It's so neat to have that recovery family, that people around me, to be able to connect with them, to be able to laugh, to carry on, just to be able to be human. And I see that as so important. Same thing on our job at work. Do we go to work because it's a dread thing we got to do every day? Some people get lost and have to sit in front of a computer all day long. Please make sure you talk to other people there. Make sure you have a little bit of a social life. Make sure you laugh. Make sure you carry on a little bit. Loosen up. So again, that's why I go back to that basics I was talking about back in the beginning. Acceptance, yes. I'm not going to change the world. Technology is going to continue to develop. Artificial intelligence, whatever they're going to call it in the future, I don't know. Pretty soon you'll be able to, sit in your house and, I don't know, maybe we'll even do a beam me up Scotty after a while. I don't know. Who knows? The concept is everything might change. That's out there. But I got to ask myself a question. What's in here? I have to build my personal relationship with technology. It's part of my life. But to be able to build it in a positive way by learning, first of all, to accept it. Secondly, to set boundaries with it. To be able to say this and that and put it down. I'm talking to you. My phone is off. I don't want to have my thing buzzing me over. So many people do this. It's there. I'm checking this out. I'm checking that out. I'm over here. I'm in touch with this. Hey, let go, will you? Just be present to where you are. Be present in the moment. Be present for the things that are around you. That's what's important. To celebrate every moment of your life. And to realize, yes, I'm connected with technology. I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm going to use it to learn. I'm going to use it to be able to connect with others. I'm going to use it to learn from others. It's wonderful today because I can actually, I had a client for a long period of time. I saw her every week from Pakistan, basically. And we got to be really good friends. We got connected as a result of it. It's so neat to be able to experience that. I got to speak at one of my meetings in Australia. That was different, with a 12-hour difference, but it was really an experience. It was neat just to be able to see other people and connect with them. But see how people go in different directions. See, I can travel across the continent without leaving my house. It's amazing. And yet at the same time, I want to use it for positive growth, not for negative things. Because you can get very lost. I see it in many of the addiction programs, things like, I'm not going to use the terms, like chat rooms and stuff to that effect, and some of the crazy stuff that goes on. And there's so much garbage out there. It's unbelievable. You can very easily get caught up in the garbage. But we have to learn. Do I have the courage? Do I have the strength to sort it out? To be able to work out what's good and what's not good? And that comes for every area of my life, no matter who I am, no matter where I go. Do we have the courage to be able to experience our aloneness? See, so many times in life, we're scared of that. Because we get caught up in loneliness. Big difference between the two. As you get healthier and you begin to realize life, I enjoy putting input into me. I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. I don't want to be done. And as a result, then I realize there's so much more to experience, things to go through. But it's the beautiful things of life, which are so powerful. I always tell the story. I'm very grateful to so many people in my life, and I've met so many beautiful people. But it's so interesting. When I was studying for the priesthood, I was a young guy. I was young at one time. Pat knows that. I was young at one time. I think I was 21, 22 years old. I was just finishing up. I was in graduate school. And basically we had this professor, and the professor was 95 years old. Now, there's part of me that said, what's that old man going to teach me? I'm going to tell you something. That old man had a greater image on life I'll ever have in my life. I learned more from him I learned from many people. But I learned from experience. I learned from what he went through on his journey. I even got a kick out of him because he had a house off campus, and basically they had to put a new roof on the house. He was 95, fighting with the roofer for a 20-year guarantee. And then on his deathbed, he died at 99. We got to spend time with him in the seminary, in the infirmary. And I'll never forget when I was there, he said to me, "Come here, boy." I said, "What?" He said, "Take this list of books, go to the library and bring them back to me." In my mind, I'm saying, this man's on his deathbed. He wants me to go get books. And I think he picked up me. He said, "I need to learn something more before I leave this earth. I want to discover something else. I want to be able to fill my mind with something else before I go." That's a pretty powerful thing. And yet, how many of us can say something like that? How many of us want to be able to really invest in ourselves and work on ourselves and grow and take our time with it? One of my best sponsors I ever had used to say to me, "Take your time, Vince. Slower is better. Learn a little about yourself. Invest in you. Discover things. Be open to new things. Be open to new directions." And that's why I really want to emphasize to us as we finish up this series on technology. I want to emphasize, I don't want to give my life to Big Brother or to Big Mama, whoever it is. I don't know. I don't want to give my life to an institution to that effect and tell them to tell me who I am and what I'm really all about. And believe me, they'll try. They're out there to do their thing. That's them. I have to be able to stay within me and work on my own spiritual growth. And remember, when I use the word spiritual, I'm not talking about religion. The word spiritual means to come to an awakening of your personal self, to invest in you as a person, to go on the journey of self-discovery. That's why I love our recovery program. I love the 12 steps because they're a formula for working on yourself and growing. Everything in life is about that. And I say this because if I learn something new today, maybe that much, and I did, by the way, if I learned something new today, I made progress. Isn't that wonderful? I met a new person today. I met someone that I got to spend time with who was going through some hurt and some pain. He had just lost a child, and I got to spend time with him. And he really taught me with compassion to be open to things and listen and be able to hear the loss or to lose something so powerful. It was an honor to be able to spend time with him, to be able to learn and grow. But the hardest part I'm learning in life is to be able to listen more, to experience the little things around you. It's just amazing. I experience things from my grandkids, the little things about life. I get scared sometimes. Maybe they're growing up a little bit too fast, but that's okay. Maybe they need to slow down a little bit, and that's okay. But they'll learn in their own time, in their own direction. I got to realize the fact that give them my love, to give them my energy, to let them know I care about them, to give them the little things of life. And the little things make the big things. It's that little thing. We just celebrated our wedding anniversary on Monday, our 35th anniversary. And one of the greatest things to do is just to be able to say to the person, "I care about you, I love you. At the same time, I want you to have a sense of yourself and do whatever you need to do for you. I don't want to control anybody or run anybody's life. It's not my job. It's God's job, not mine. I don't want to be able to tell someone what they're supposed to be. I want them to be what I want them to be." No. That goes for therapy. That goes for anything in life. It's not my job. My job is not to run somebody else's life. My job is not to control somebody else. My job is to plant the seed, allow them their journey, allow them their mistakes, allow them their humanness, and to allow myself my mistakes and my humanness. And believe me, I make plenty of them every day. So every once in a while, I do stick my foot in my mouth. Then I got to go through the operation of taking it out. That's a tough one. but it's all part of life and it's all part of the journey. And so what I'm saying in this series was, take your time. Technology is part of our life and part of our journey. It will be part of our life and part of our journey till years after we're dead. Then it'll be a part of somebody else's life and journey. But the important thing is, do I have a sense? Can I accept the fact that I need this in my life? Am I interdependent on it? Am I connected to it? Or am I codependent? Which means I depend on it so much, I cannot function without it. Can I put it down? Can I set boundaries? Do I have balance in my life? And balance is, to me, one of the most beautiful words on the face of the earth. To give yourself a sense of balance. Everything in life needs balance. The yin and the yang, negative and positive, negative and positive. We keep learning, we keep growing, we keep discovering. You know, I looked at, my wife and I talked about this the other day, because the first day you get married, and Bill can attest to this, the first day you get married, you know, you think, wow, wonderful, fantastic, great. And then you have to develop life in reality. You got to go through the ups, you got to go through the downs, you got to go through the in-betweens, you got to go through the struggles, you got to go through the sicknesses, you got to go through a lot of different things, got to go through loss every once in a while, got to go through change. That is the adventure, the beautiful, beautiful adventure of life. Be a participant, and don't please give your power, as the old Italians would say, don't give your power to the machines. The machines used to say. Have your independence, work on your own self, do your own development. But realize the fact, I need things in my life to learn from them. And so we have beautiful advantages today to be able to do this. And that's what's important. And so I want to close out the series with a prayer that we're able to look within our own selves and our hearts, and to be able to really be able to open the door to learn and discover new things, and be open to the most beautiful thing in the world. And that is the development of my personal self and my interconnection with other individuals and people to learn and to grow. That's what's the most important thing in the world. Because I told you this many times, the greatest library on the face of this earth is the human library, because we all got a story. And your story is the greatest story of all. Don't sell yourself short. You are unique. You are special. And always remember that. And don't ever let any machine, as the Italians would say, tell you who you are. Look in that mirror. Look at yourself. That's what's important. So let us pray. God, we come before you tonight in prayer. We ask the God of our understanding, our divine presence, to be our guide, to be our strength, to walk along with us and help us on this journey. Teach us the value of things around us. Teach us the value of technology. Teach us to realize these are all gifts to be used in a positive and beautiful way. Teach us to be able to have a sense of balance, a sense of boundaries, a sense of love, a sense of strength in our life. Teach us to be open to new things and new directions. We need your help. We need your guidance. We need your direction in all things that we do. And we ask that you be our guide and be our strength and be with us on this journey. For this journey is special. It's called the journey of life. Help me to be open to others, to learn from all that I meet. No one comes into my life by accident. They are messengers sent by you. They are special messengers. Teach me the energy of love, the energy of learning, the energy of growing. Teach me to be open to new things and new directions. But above all, give me a sense of balance. Be able to look at life and learn, keep growing, keep discovering. And remember, you are the architect, but we really need to be able to work on our journey as we walk down here. We walk with you. We pray and we ask for your guidance, your direction. We ask for it in your name. Amen.